And now, a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive.
And today, expect mostly sunny conditions with a high on life that can only come from cruising down the road on two wheels. Kids will wave, dogs will bark, and cyclists in padded shorts will instantly regret their chosen mode of transportation. Whereas you, on the other hand, will look super duper cool. Back to you in the studio.
This has been a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive, where every day's a beautiful day to ride with coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Get a quote today and see what you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, this is Tim Nybo, co-founder of Vincero. Small batch, premium lifestyle accessories are what we're all about. From automatic timepieces to handcrafted polarized sunglasses, our dedication to craftsmanship runs through everything we do. See, we believe the accessories you choose to carry on a daily basis matter. That's why we design everything in-house, source all of our own materials, and produce in small batches. It's the only way to guarantee everything we make, and the reason we have over 40,000 five-star reviews. Check out why GQ called us their go-to brand, and join our community of over 500,000 happy customers. Shop our watches, eyewear, and accessories at VinceroCollective.com/radio. And when you do, take 20% off with code RADIO. That's VINCERO Collective.com/radio. And don't forget to apply that code RADIO at checkout for 20% off your entire purchase.
Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah. Welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. This is the episode you've been waiting for. I'm your dealing center host, Matt Soroka. And as always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka.
This is always one of the funnest episodes of the year.
Yeah.
Because if we get to look ahead, and you and I are at least generally hopeful. We're past the negative looking forward. That now we can be hopeful going into this year.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what we're talking about, this episode is going to be dedicated to breaking down the Lamar Jackson situation. So,
yeah.
And like Josh said, we're optimistic about it.
Should we, this is our 2023 prediction episode geared towards the Orioles, but do you want to throw a Lamar Jackson prediction in at the end?
Oh, sure. Predict where he'll be playing next year.
Yeah, let's just add that
right
to the very end of the show.
All right, I have a thought on that. I have a team in mind.
I do as well. So how are you doing? The baseball starts tomorrow. I thought that we got a primetime game tonight, but I checked all over the TV, and apparently games don't start till tomorrow as we record this on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Because
it's tomorrow. I'm feeling giddy about it. I'm giddy, Josh.
I know.
I don't know what the weather's like in Maryland right now, but today it was like 70 degrees in Georgia. It was perfect. Like it was opening day weather.
It was totally opening day weather. I mean, I'm in Florida. Every day's opening day weather. But can you explain why our dad texted us at 8:15 saying it's finally baseball season?
I know. There's
no games.
Yeah.
That prompted me. You know what I did? I went on the MLB network and it didn't have a game. And I said, oh, duh, it's a national or the MLB app. And I said, oh, it must be blacked out. So I shut that off and I went to YouTube TV. And I said, oh, yeah, YouTube TV doesn't have the MLB network. So I must not have it there. So then I go over to Google and find out there is no game. I have no clue why he's texting me at 8:15 at night. That's a text for 1 o'clock tomorrow when games start.
Yeah, it was a disappointing move by Dad there. I don't know what he's watching.
Yeah,
but
he's been watching a little too much Terps basketball, women's basketball.
Yeah, that's almost as disappointing as I feel like Friday is always a disappointing day too. You get so pumped for opening day, and then it's always like an off day on Friday.
Oh yeah, Fridays. Yes,
the off day Friday after opening day is the worst.
It really is.
And we got to experience that twice because we do that against Boston, then we do that for the Orioles when they come home too.
At least for the home opener, we'll be together. We'll do something on Friday. Well, I'll probably be working. I'm going to be working on Friday from Maryland, but we'll do something Friday evening.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and we got games. So before we get into these predictions, I got a Birdland Sports announcement.
Okay.
All right. I have a Birdland Sports booth for the opening day home opener block party next week.
Oh, nice.
Like pregame, everyone hangs out, drinks right by the 105.7 broadcast. So I'll have a booth there, and I've got like 4 different designs of Birdland Sports shirts I'll be selling. And I've got a stack of 2,000 flyers that have Birdland Sports on one side and Section 336 on the other side.
Nice.
So I figure I'm going to promote this product at the same time because I don't know if you've gone over, and we'll get to it a little later, about the podcast app. Have you searched Orioles in the podcast app?
No, I have not searched Orioles a podcast app.
A lot of new people popping up this year.
Oh, really? There's a lot of...
Orioles start to play well, and everyone wants in on the game.
Yeah.
So
everyone thinks they can do what we do.
Everyone
Get out
thinks
here
they
with
can
that nonsense.
do. So we got another great iTunes review we can share at the end.
Oh, nice.
But because we've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else has been doing it for maybe 10 weeks if they're lucky.
Next Generation Ball Sports Talk, but Josh is still kicking it with the old school Flyers. Let's go.
I know. Well, I was trying to decide what to do, and I decided I need to do Flyers because they said that there was 18,000 people that came through this block party last year.
Yeah.
And I'm not prepared for 18,000 people.
Right.
I also don't think 18,000 people will want to buy a shirt. So I have 2,000 free flyers to try to get people going over to the website and go into their podcast app and checking us out during the game.
Fair enough. It's good pre-listening. This episode actually is a good.
This episode is
a good pre-listening opening day morning.
It's a great
podcast.
time. And when I'm handing out those flyers that morning, it's a great time to tune in because we would have had this episode and we would have by then had our episode breaking down the first weekend of baseball.
Yeah,
so you're diving right in.
This is, Josh, probably your first booth since FanFest.
FanFest? I had a booth at FanFest?
Didn't we one time we had a booth at FanFest?
No, we've never had a booth. No, we've never had a booth at FanFest.
We didn't have a booth somewhere like that?
No, we've had a table set up. We've had a table set up.
Yeah.
At the Bowie Bay Sox game where we interviewed some players in the tarmac.
I thought we had something else. Maybe I'm misremembering that.
I don't think we've never done anything like this to promote
promotion. Yeah, we're not big on the promotion side. Yeah.
No, we're really bad at it. In fact, I've got a stack of Section 336 business cards that I never hand out.
Yeah.
And so now I've got a whole bunch.
I have a stack of personal business cards I never hand out.
Yeah, I've got personal cards. I got a whole bunch of those too in the car. But so this is something that's, if you're going downtown, come by, say hi. Matt, I'm hoping I can get you to come and help me out a little bit because it's a little...
I did not sign up for a booth. I don't remember when I signed up for a booth.
You did not sign up for a booth.
I didn't sign up for a booth.
You did not sign up for a booth. But I'm asking, hey, if any listeners want to help me out and help me out up at the booth before pregame, send me a message.
Coconuts. That's a coconut move right there.
Yeah, that's totally a coconut move. To come hang out and help me out with flyers or selling shirts or something like that, because it's definitely a test for me to see how it does setting up a booth and selling shirts.
Yeah, this is opening day.
This is opening day
before the game starts.
This is 9 a.m. until 3 p.m.
Okay,
so it's all morning down there.
Okay,
so make sure you're checking that out, and then. So you can come, if you're a Coconut, you can come see me there. Maybe Matt will be by at some point.
Yeah, 9 to 3. I think I can squeeze in a little bit. I'm not doing a 9 to 3 shift, but I can squeeze in for an hour.
I think you'll see Matt about 2:15 to 2:30.
That sounds about right.
But also then the other chance to meet up with us while we're in town in Maryland is we're going to meet up on the Centerfield Bar on Saturday night at, let's say, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 6:05, hour before the first pitch.
We'll be wearing some 336 gear, I would imagine.
Yeah, or probably some Birdland Sports stuff. I have 336 shirts. I could wear a 336 shirt. Mm-hmm. Also, you probably know what we look like.
Do they? I
guarantee the listeners know more what we look like than what we know the listeners look like.
Well, that's true. But
I have no clue what the listeners
this is for the most part an audio platform.
It is.
You're aware of that.
It is. I know.
So maybe we'll just start talking up there, and people would recognize the voices more likely.
That's true. You'll probably we've had that happen to us before, so you're right. There's a good chance people recognize us by our voice.
Or I'll start stuttering, and people will flock to me.
I've got a gaudy Birdland Sports sweatshirt that I'll show off next week for opening day. That has the back covered in all the different characters and artwork from Birdland Sports shirts.
Oh, nice.
So I'll show that off next week.
All right, cool.
So I think it'll be easy for people to find us.
Yeah.
Plus, guess where we'll sit during the game?
336.
Yeah.
Or 334 maybe.
It depends. I don't know. I haven't bought the tickets yet.
Yeah, it could be 332. Where do you know where we're at for opening day?
I can tell you where we are.
That's usually a wild card.
Yeah, opening days a little
bit different.
A little bit different. What do they call that app? The Ballpark app.
Yeah.
So all your tickets are in the Ballpark app. So for opening day, I gotta open the tickets.
And we're wasting time. We got a lot to get to here. I got some hot
there's the Orioles
Grayson Rodriguez takes. Even before we get the bold prediction, we got hot Grayson Rodriguez takes.
We're in section 340 for opening day. We'll let you know all those details next week because we've got a show still before the home opener.
Okay.
So let's focus on our 2023 predictions.
Before we get to predictions, let's talk about Grayson.
Yeah, we got to talk about Grayson.
Do we know the final roster yet? When are they going to tell us the final roster?
Is it not out yet?
I don't think so. I think there's still a couple decisions to be made, but
I don't know. All the news today was like all the reporters getting the storylines about, what changed at Camden Yards. Here's the new hot dog. Look, we put in new carpet.
Yeah, some more gambling logos.
So, no, we know the rotation now. We don't know all the bench.
We know the
spots.
first three, right? We know Boston.
Yeah, and we know all five.
Right. Oh, yeah.
In
terms of order.
Left. Yeah. We know as far as order, we know the first three.
Right.
Yeah.
Franchi Cordero, who we cut, was signed by the Yankees. They said he's going to make the open day roster for the Yankees. So it's good to see the guys that aren't good enough to make our team, our cast-offs,
are going to New York.
Are going to the Yankees. That's just it's two franchises heading in different directions. That's my take on the Cordero side.
The Yankees overrated might be part of my bold predictions later.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Grayson Rodriguez, official, he's not making the team. This is a total example of the Orioles' mismanagement and don't know how to run themselves as an organization, and we need to just get rid of Peter Angelos, right?
Well, I don't disagree with any of that. Especially to get rid of Peter Angelos' part.
The Peter Angelos part. But no, this is are you in the same ballpark as me? This is it's not a Grayson Rodriguez didn't play well enough, which is disappointing. But the fact that our rotation is good enough that we don't need Grayson Rodriguez is a good thing. Is that where you're at?
Josh, right now, do you think Grayson Rodriguez is one of the top 5 starting pitchers on this team?
Apparently not. No. In the spring, he was not. In the spring, he did not show. No. He struggled a lot with second time through the lineup.
What about this argument that he was dominant at AAA, and what does he have left to prove at AAA?
Quickly show me, because if you're dominant at AAA, you'll show me. You were not dominant in Sarasota. You go up to Norfolk, you become dominant again, you're coming up.
Oh, all of a sudden, Josh says spring training stats matter. Huh,
they
interesting.
Do. They do. Now,
but they don't matter for Jordan Westburg.
It gets tricky. I think here's the problem.
Tricky, listeners. It gets tricky.
The problem with Grayson Rodriguez is this was handed to him on a silver platter. All Grayson Rodriguez had to do was not screw up, and he pitched a 7.04 ERA. He gave up 11 runs over 10 and 2/3 innings.
Yeah, had 7 walks.
Strikeouts were good.
7 walks, yeah.
Right, a bunch of walks. He did get 19 strikeouts for over the 15 innings. But I don't know which number's right there. How do I have 19 strikeouts over 15 innings and 14 hits over 10 and 2/3 innings? One of those numbers is wrong.
It's 15 innings. It's 15 innings is what he pitched.
Yeah. So 19 strikeouts, that's good. That's great. The walks was a problem, which means control is a problem. And I don't know. I mean, is more of the storyline Grayson Rodriguez struggles, or is the storyline that Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells both looked excellent in Sarasota?
Are you talking about Kyle Bradish, who had an ERA of over 6? Or are you talking about Tyler Wells, who had an ERA of 5.74?
Both of those numbers.
We're talking about Kyle Gibson, who gave up actually more hits than anyone in spring training.
Yeah, but
teams batted 306 against them. I'm not sure which one are you talking about that looked so awesome in spring training.
Or Dean Kramer, who also was in the force. I'm saying ERA alone, everyone was better than Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Runs alone, everyone was better than Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah, but you can't sit here and tell me that you think all these players are better than Grayson Rodriguez.
No, but I think there's something Grayson Rodriguez is working on that's not ready yet.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if it's a control issue or what it is, but there was something that wasn't translating that second time through the lineup, something that was leading to a lot of walks, that in the end of the day, we talked last week about how we wanted the Orioles to do a 6-man rotation because we thought you couldn't leave Tyler Wells off this rotation. And the Orioles agreed. You couldn't leave Tyler Wells off this rotation. Unfortunately, you could leave Grayson Rodriguez off.
Yeah, I was hitting about this for a couple weeks now. I'm not shocked or surprised by this at all. Josh, is there any part of you, though, that thinks this might be a little bit of, performance, but also service manipulation?
No, it's not service manipulation. No.
Okay.
Because they could have done it last year. They could have done it last year with Adley.
Well, they did, Josh.
No, they didn't. He got hurt.
We all said he was ready to go a month before he got hurt. They could have called him up at any time a month before that.
What? Adley?
No. I'm talking about Grayson.
Oh, yeah. No, Grayson last year.
They waited too long last year to call him up.
They did wait too long last year. I will give you that.
And Adley.
But I don't.
Josh, you think Adley would have been there opening day if he didn't get hurt?
Yeah, he would have been there opening
You did?
day.
You feel confident about that? Yeah,
I mean, they brought Gunnar Henderson up right away. They didn't try to do any service manipulation with Gunnar.
That's debatable. I mean, they made it so he still has his rookie status for this year. They could have brought him up a little bit earlier. Yeah,
but that doesn't give them an extra year or anything. It doesn't give any more team control. It helps give him a better chance of winning Rookie of the Year.
Isn't there some, draft pick compensation or something if he wins Rookie of the Year?
If he wins Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
I thought it hurts you if he wins Rookie of the Year.
I thought they want to encourage teams to play their prospects from the beginning of the season.
Maybe so.
If he wins Rookie of the Year and he starts at the beginning of the season, you get an extra draft pick.
I don't know how those rules
work. I don't know if since he played last year, if that goes into that. But Josh, here's my thing about it. I don't disagree with you. And in fact, I kind of half disagree with you and half don't. The part that agrees with you is I thought about this for a minute and then I listened to what people were saying. For instance, I'm blanked on his name. Ryan Ripken. Shoot, there's the only center Matsuroka. Ryan Ripken, who is now all over social media. He came out with a video. He talked about how this makes sense. Grayson clearly something Grayson Rodriguez didn't pitch well. It makes sense that he's starting the minors, and then other players like Brandon McCarthy, a former pitcher. He says he said he talked about how from Grayson's perspective, you don't want to make your first start when you've been struggling. You want to come make your debut when you're kind of on the top of your game. So Brandon McCarthy was like, for Grayson Rodriguez, this is good for him because you don't want to start your MLB career not feeling yourself or feeling you're struggling. And then Jim Palmer, right? Jim Palmer, he tweeted out, he said, all Grayson had to do to make the O's was pitch well, and he didn't. And so you even have Jim Palmer coming out. So you have all these, and I know Orioles fan 2374 thinks this is an outrage and this is service time manipulation and thinks Michael Elias is a liar. But baseball players, this makes sense to all that. This baseball players are in agreement with Michael Elias, are in agreement with it's okay to hold Grayson Rodriguez down until he kind of gets back on track. So in that respect, I'm with you, Josh. If we just look at this one decision in isolation, I'm with you. Where I'm not with you,
is you're trying to compare it to the history of the Orioles.
the history, even under Mike Elias's tenure, where Mike Elias has repeatedly attempted to not win, right? Like that's what I know about Mike Elias. He tries not to win.
Yeah,
Even last year at the trade deadline, trading all his prospects away, trying not to win. Even this off, Josh, I wouldn't even be, if we just would have signed any top free agent, I would have been better with Grayson Rodriguez not being here because we're clearly trying to win. But this is in line with Adley didn't start the season for whatever reason last year. We're not signing any free agents. We're trading away play. Like this is after 4 years of tanking. This looks like the optics is here's another example of Mike Elias trying not to win.
Correct.
So in isolation, I agree with you. But on the other hand, Mike Elias has kind of lost all benefit of the doubt because he's not tried to win the past 4 years.
Oh, really? You're taking away all doubt because of the history before him. I don't know. I'm talking about
his history, not even before. I'm talking about Mike Elias' history.
But this team is not set up to lose.
But are they set up, Josh, to win?
Well, we're going to get to that with our predictions, but I would say that they are not set up to tank.
But did Mike Elias, has he done everything to win this year?
Clearly, he didn't sign a big arm this offseason like he could have.
And apparently, someone released last year the Orioles made what, $64 million?
In
one of the most
profit.
profitable teams.
Yes.
Yeah, profit. One of the most profitable teams in all of baseball.
Right. And from what I can tell, that did not include concert money.
Yeah. Josh, and that $64 million, you could take half of that, less than half, and sign a top rotation arm. No problem.
Yeah. I had a
that could get anyone you want.
I had a bigger takeaway.
Yeah.
You made $64 million last year.
Right.
And you still had to take down the sun sign. You still have to go out there and sell naming rights to the stadium. And when you made $64 million profit.
So you can make $68 million profit.
Right. You need to make $80 million if you sell the sign and the naming rights. That's how much it's going to take for you to pocket to be happy.
Yeah. And Josh, our attendance is going to be up, and we haven't really made bigger financial moves. So the team's going to make $75 million this year.
Attendance is going to be way up this year.
Yeah.
No question. There's already
payroll, but payroll is not going to be way up.
I wish the Orioles started at home because there's hype behind this team. People are excited for the season to start. And we have a tough start. I mean,
no, the first month is easier. We're going to crush the first month, Josh. The first month is a joke.
Boston,
we're going
to
walk over everybody.
Come on to New York.
Yeah, we're going to walk over these teams.
So,
and it's good because we'll get to some predictions, but I think our team is the weakest to kind of start the season. I think we'll get stronger because I would argue, our two best pitchers didn't even make the team.
Right.
For whatever reason you want to put on that, the two best pitchers on the team did not make the team.
Oh, you think John Means is some type of manipulation by Mike Elias as well?
Three best pitchers. Thank you, Josh. I forgot about John Means.
You were counting D.L.
Hall, Grayson Rodriguez, and now John Means. Three best starters are not even there.
That's the weird part when I was going through and putting together my bold predictions is I really like this team the way it's constructed. I really feel like this team can win. But there's so many guys in the wings that are not part of this team yet that make this team better.
Well, that's what happened last year. And you saw a big boost when Adley got here and another boost when Gunnar got here. Right. And I think it's going to be the same way this year, except on the pitching front. Where you're going to have Grayson.
John Means.
It's kind of like the Adley role.
DL.
And then DL and then John. I call him John because we're close like that. But I think those are the three big additions you're going to see this year on the pitching side.
Yeah, but then the question is, do we see other additions as come July time if we see Kerstead, Kalzer, Westberg, any of these guys making their push?
Yeah, not to mention this would be the ideal time to make a trade. So, and no one in baseball is in better position to make a trade for a top guy than the Orioles are. So
every time this year, every time any player in Major League Baseball, any active player gets hurt, you should look at the Orioles and see, hey, who do we have that could fill that role? Because we have guys in every position that we could trade.
Yeah, that's why when the guy Gavin Lux for Dodgers got hurt, everyone said, "Oh, Mateo's the best fit." Then Altuve got hurt, and people said, "Oh, Urias is the best fit." So yeah, I think we're going to hear these talks all spring training because Urias leaves, Mateo leaves, and we don't miss a beat because we have prospects to back them up. And so I think it's going to be an interesting even season with the trade. I mean, as far as teams wanting our players and us wanting their players, I think it could be pretty active come the trade deadline.
No, how many times have we had trade deadlines? And for many of those trade deadlines, I remember. Here's my constant memory of trade deadlines: is it seems to always overlap with you and I down in the Outer Banks.
Sure.
And
we're talking about doing special episodes as we wait.
We'll do we're together. We'll do a special episode as soon as the Orioles make a trade, and then they don't.
Right.
This year, I'll give you a heads up. In my predictions, I've got us making 3 trades.
Oh my!
So, and I'll tell you who when we get to that bold predictions.
Okay, I got some trade talk, but I'm not as specific as that. Oh wow! I got a couple of names, but I don't.
Oh, then you're not being.
I know who Josh has. Josh has Shohei Ohtani. Orioles trade for Shohei Ohtani.
Oh no!
I know that's where Josh going.
No, I have guys that leave. Only one way.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of guys that leave too. I wonder if our list is the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's at least one surprise on my list.
All right.
So,
how do you want to structure this show, Josh? You want to jump into bold predictions? You want to start simple with standings, record?
Let's start
MVO?
simple. Let's start simple with standards, records, MVO, because I think as we get to our bold predictions, that kind of explains why we did this, why we did that. So, like let's unveil our standings, and then my bold predictions will tell you how I came up with that number.
All right. So what do you have? How many wins do you have the Orioles winning this year, Josh?
So I want to give you the end of the story first. Okay.
By the way, I saw our friend of the show and personal friend Eric RDT. He tweeted out this thing about share your win total and stuff. Did you see this tweet? And people could share how many wins. Anyway, I looked at it because people could say how many wins, and there was a bunch of questions. And I would say, Josh, you know what the average Oriole fan? What would you say the average was in terms of what do you
83.
think Oriole fans? How many games are they going to win?
83.
Yeah, I would say it was probably closer to 86 or 87.
All right. Last year it was 83 wins, so that's why I was going with that number.
Yeah.
So, all right, I have the Orioles landing in 3rd place this year.
All right.
3rd place in the AL East.
All right.
I have them making the playoffs from 3rd place as a wild card.
Okay.
Do you want my number?
Sure. Yeah, your number.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to share.
I have them at 2nd place.
Okay, good. I have them at 90 wins.
Okay.
We're
right there. I have them at 91.
Blue Jays. All right, I've got the Blue Jays and Yankees ahead of them. I debated with the Yankees back and forth.
That's where I'm at. I'm at Blue Jays, Orioles, Yankees, Rays, Red Sox.
And that's where in the end, I put Yankees at 91 wins, Orioles at 90 wins. Kind of back and forth. I feel like the Yankees are overrated, but the Yankees also spend money and do what it takes to win.
Yeah, if they're not happy at the trade deadline, they will get the guy. If you talk about a guy that somehow they can figure out a way to get Ohtani or something, that's if they can make a splash.
If anyone can do it, it's them.
Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, Judge looked great, had a great season last year, so he's going to continue that, I imagine.
It's hard to imagine him though being as good as he was last year, right? That seems like he might take a step back.
And I think because of that,
and they've already been bit by the injury bug a little bit too.
Right. I think at least 3 playoff spots are coming out of the AL East, but I think it could even be 4.
Yeah. I mean, the Blue Jays look stacked. I mean, I think the Blue Jays look really good this year.
Yeah, we both agree with that. Blue Jays at the top. Yankees and Orioles can compete in there. And the Rays, if everything goes right for the Rays, they're always in it. The Red Sox are crap this year.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm putting them all the way at the bottom.
I mean, I'm putting them at the bottom too, but they'll probably still have a better record than a bunch of teams in these other divisions because the AL East is good.
Yeah, the AL East is good. It's interesting to look at. There's breakdowns that show strength of schedules, and I think it's ridiculous now because they always say, "Oh, look, the Orioles have a harder schedule now that they're not playing in the AL East all the time."
Yeah,
which in my mind doesn't make any sense because the AL East is always just a battering ram.
Yeah.
So
and it would always make me laugh when the Orioles were bad, and they would talk about strength of schedule, and I said the schedule was unfair because everyone in the AL East got to play the Orioles except for the Orioles. The Orioles never got to play the Orioles.
Right.
and we could win some games if we could play the Orioles, but that's no longer the case.
Right. And now they're saying that the Orioles' strength of schedule is worse, even though we play all the teams, because we still play the AL East more than everyone else, because there's still a slight adjustment.
Right.
But the difference is what you're going to see because of that is more teams make the playoffs from the AL East than all the other divisions.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the American League, though, is pretty wide open. I mean, last year, the Orioles finished with 83 wins, and they were still fourth place. So that means like everyone but Boston finished with a record over 500, well over 500, right?
Yep.
So it's just a good division. But I think like teams got better this year. Like I think the Twins will be good this year. The Guardians and White Sox are going to be good. I think the Astros, of course, are going to be good. The Mariners, I think, are going to build off last year and be good. The Angels, I think, will be good. I mean, you have to be good when you have Ohtani and Trout, but we've been saying that for a while. The Rangers made a lot of moves this offseason. Yeah. They're going to be better. I just think the American League is more wide open than the National League. And that's where people like to downplay what the Orioles did this offseason, because the Orioles didn't make a big move this offseason. But I think, and I didn't do this, and I should, there's probably some scientific, mathematic way to do this formula, and it's probably not that hard, but I didn't know how to do it. Because what people aren't accounting for is they're looking at last year's Orioles and said, oh, they got 83 wins. The way I looked at it, and the way I came up with my 90 wins, is we saw the team get better with Adley, we saw the team get better with Gunnar. What if both those guys started at the beginning of the season? Yeah. And that's where I came out with the 7 more wins. Well, and that combined with the fact, and I've talked about this before on a daily when we did those, you have Grayson Rodriguez is going to be here. That's an upgrade. You also have John Means, who didn't play, pitched like 1 or 2 games last year. You have him. He's going to be coming back. DL Hall, I think, is going to be a contributor this year. So, and the other thing I think, Josh, because of my calculations, I always think about this. Who are going to be sellers and buyers, or who's going to be sellers and buyers at the trade deadline? And Mike Elias keeps on fooling me, so I shouldn't get fooled again. But I think the Orioles will be buyers this trade deadline. We're buyers. Yeah. So I think we'll get better as the season goes on. But I think to start the season, you're right, with Adley and Gunnar, we're already starting at a better point than where we started last year, and we'll get better as the season goes on. That's how I feel. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic too. Are you putting your money on Gunnar Henderson for Rookie of the Year? I mean, he's the favorite. I usually don't like putting money on the favorite. I think this kid, what's his name, Volpe or something, who was announced as the starter for the Yankees. I think Anthony Volpe is going to be tough competition because he's a shortstop for the Yankees, and because he's in New York. Yeah. And so he's going to get all the media coverage. So I think that's going to be tough competition. But yeah, but just the fact that Gunnar will bat near the top of the lineup and play every day puts him as a favorite for Rookie of the Year. And so yeah, I think if I was a betting man, which I'm not anymore, I would bet Gunnar for Rookie of the Year. I am as well. We never talked about the fact that the Orioles opened a sports book, but it's not a sports book. Oh, I didn't know that. Whatever, the Dempsey replacement. Yeah. It's called like sports book. Okay. But it's not a sports book. Is that what the new sign is above the scoreboard too? It's a new, I don't know about that. But yeah, it's a new bar called Sportsbook, but they don't have a gambling license. So they're telling you to come in, sit down, and place bets on your phone. So Orioles? It's typical Orioles. It's, we want a sports book, but we're not going to do the work for a sports book. Yeah. That's so funny. So what's the difference between that and a bar? I don't know. Right. I don't know. I imagine they couldn't work out a deal with DraftKings or Barstool or one of these FanDuels, whatever. Yeah. And it'll come in the future. Let's see. All right, you want to get to some bold predictions? Hey, before that, I mentioned we can do like biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. I want to put this as an MBO. So, Josh, who for you is going to be the most valuable Oriole this year? Oh, I have that right down here. Cedric Mullins. Oh, really? Yes. I went with Cedric Mullins. Okay, I'll bet you on that one. You want to bet on that one? Who do you have? My reasoning is the top of the order. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think he's going to get on base a ton. I think he's going to move on the bases a ton. Yeah, and that's why I'm going with Cedric Mullins. I think anyone who goes with anyone not named Adley Rutschman is being too cute. The answer is Adley Rutschman. It's not even close. He's going to win. You can give it to him right now. I will put my house on it that he will win the MVO Like it's no doubt about it. He's the best player. He's going to win it.
I also went with Cedric Mullins because I knew you'd go with Adley Rutschman, and I needed something different.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people put other things to be cute with it, but you're just being cute. Everyone knows Adley Rutschman's the best player. It's going to be Adley Rutschman, barring injury or something. Shohei Ohtani will win the MVP. Adley Rutschman will win the NBO. Those things are already done. I don't know why we're even playing games.
All right.
Biggest surprise, a guy that maybe not people are talking about, but you think will surprise?
The biggest surprise, Jorge Mateo.
Okay.
That Jorge Mateo is going to take a step up. He's going to get on base more. He's going to move around. That I think Jorge Mateo makes a splash this year.
Oh, Josh, that would be amazing for our
outside. Team. It would be amazing, yeah. And there's no talk of getting rid of him. That he establishes himself as part of the future here. Yeah,
because now I think people are kind of mixed on him. Like they think, oh, he could be good, or he could be benched by June and not play anymore. It was interesting too, Josh. A couple of spring training games, they threw him out in center field. I mean, maybe that's preparing him for a super utility role where he can play all over the place. That might be interesting too.
Yeah, I think especially with the new rules on pickoff attempts on the larger bags, there's going to be a big push to get Mateo on base, and that means he's got to get play somewhere.
Yeah, my biggest surprise is going to be a guy who I think will end the season as the best pitcher for the Orioles, and that's my man, DL Hall. He's my biggest surprise. I think when we look back at the end, by the end of the year, he's going to be the best pitcher on the team starting for the Orioles by the year. So that's my pick, DL Hall for biggest surprise.
Okay.
I think all the stuff like Grace Rodriguez, people are sleeping on DL Hall a little bit.
I big fan of DL Hall. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Any biggest disappointment, the other end? Some guy I hate
the biggest.
I know, Josh, because you're all sipping the orange Kool-Aid, and it's about to be opening day, and everyone's going to be awesome. Yeah.
My biggest disappointment is that Ryan Mountcastle puts up kind of a down year, just like last year.
Oh, really?
That Mountcastle does not bounce back, and we're sitting here like looking for a first baseman of the future.
Yeah, that would be a disappointment. I think a lot of people are expecting kind of a bounce back year. Even though he wasn't bad last year, I think a lot of people are expecting him to be better this year.
Right. He wasn't bad, but he didn't take a step up.
Right.
So what's your biggest disappointment?
My guy, listen, he's another guy similar to Ryan Mountcastle, where last year you're like, you really want to like this guy. You're just waiting for him to take the next step, and he hasn't yet. And I think this could be it for him, and that's Austin Hayes. We see kind of another crop of young outfielders coming, and I think if Austin Hayes doesn't have a great year, Kjerstad or Cowser could be taking his spot. So a big year for Austin Hayes. So yes. I hope it's not true, but I could see.
Very similar. Yeah, very similar to my prediction with Ryan Mountcastle.
Yeah.
Guys that you really need to step up and show that they're part of the future here.
Yeah. All right, Josh. So we're both very
time now for bold predictions.
Optimistic about the Orioles, and I think
got a little ahead of myself on the button.
No, do it, Josh, because I think our bold predictions then is going to reflect the fact that both of us have the Orioles winning 90 and 90 plus games. So I think that will reflect on these bold predictions. We're going in this optimistic about. We're setting ourselves up to be really disappointed, or we're accurately predicting how good this team is, and we're going to have some good bold predictions.
I believe we're accurately predicting.
Time now for bold predictions.
All right, you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. Jorge Mateo and Cedric Mullins, guys I've mentioned already, both get over 30 stolen bases, with Cedric Mullins getting 50 stolen bases.
Oh, wow.
That's my prediction. That's my bold prediction.
I have a bold stolen base prediction too, Josh.
Well, why don't you go with that? Bring that one up now.
I will. Thank you for suggesting that. No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing interesting about stolen bases. What do you think about this? I was thinking about this. The bigger bases we've talked about, and also like you can only do 2 pickoff attempts, and that's what we talked about in terms of stealing bases. What about, Josh? Do you think the pitch clock will base runners be able to time if you take too long to throw to the plate? Will base runners be able to time when the pitch is going to be thrown and get a bigger jump to second base?
Yes. There's also limited pickoff attempts as well.
Yeah, just 2. Yeah.
So yes.
So with that, my stolen base prediction is.
I mean, think about it. You take 2 attempts to pick him off. That guy can now take a huge lead.
well, yeah, you can still throw over there, but you have to get him out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so my prediction is Jorge Mateo, Cedric Mullins, and I'm throwing in Gunnar Henderson will combine for 100 stolen bases.
Okay, so you kind of agree with me. I like this. I thought I was going out on a limb with stolen bases as a bold prediction. You went in the same direction. I like this.
It would be too bold to say just Mateo and Mullins. So I'm going to say Gunner's going to get in there with 15 to 20 stolen bases. He had 22 last year in the minors. So if he can get in there with 15 to 20 to finish it off, and if we can get 80 out of Mateo and Mullins, like you predicted, yeah, so we're on the same page. We did not share our bold predictions ahead of time, but we're on the same page with the stolen bases as well.
We didn't share any of these predictions ahead of time. I'm glad we're on the same. This is normally where in the past we'd have Bert join us, and you and I'd be on the same page, and Bert would be like, I predict 15 stolen bases total.
Yeah.
So I like this. Also, do you have a prediction about the All-Star game?
No, I don't have any All-Star game predictions.
Okay. I have now tell me if I'm being a little too bold on this.
Do I have a thought on who's going to make the All-Star game?
I have 5 players making the All-Star game.
Okay, I have 2.
For the Orioles. I put Gunnar and Adley.
I got
Those are
Adley and
obvious
Batista. Yeah.
I have Batista,
Okay,
again,
so-
as an obvious pick. But I also put Cedric Mullins because I know he wouldn't be a starter, but I feel like just like he got the Team USA nod, when he's playing this well and stealing this many bases, he's going to get the nod. And then surprise bold prediction,
Yeah.
I got Kyle Bradish
Ooh, nice.
representing the Orioles.
Yeah, I feel like in some respect, pitchers are easier because it's based more on stats, whereas
Yes.
the hitters is much more on just name recognition.
Fan favorites. Yes.
So that's why Adley I think is a lock because everyone kind of knows Adley's name. I just have Adley Batista, so I think it would be bold.
I think
If we got more than 2, I think that would be bold.
Yeah, I think Gunnar, again, with the name, people like to vote. Like, he's got a cool name. That's part of the fan vote.
Yep.
So-
Everyone's talking about him as favorite for Rookie of the Year.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why I'm going with 5 to be bold.
All right, that's bold. I'll share my next one. This is not All-Star, but this is MVP. I think Adley Rutschman will finish in the top 3 of MVP voting. So not one,
Okay.
but top 3 in MVP voting.
Okay.
And if the Orioles do make the playoffs, and if they do finish second in the division, which I think they will, they certainly will get some love for their best player in the MVP voting. So that's why I'm going with Adley at top 3 MVP voting.
I wrote this down as a kind of postseason nod that this week the MLB The Show came out on Tuesday.
Yep. How many hours have you already played it?
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, I played it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it the day it came out.
I-
I was
so-
stuck watching the baby, and I said I need something to do while I watch the baby, and
All
I
right,
just
well,
got it. And I played
let's-
one game.
Let's play. Let's
All
play
right.
sometime. I bought it, but I pre-ordered it, and I forgot that it came out until today.
Oh yeah, I checked. I just got it yesterday. I checked when it was that. Yeah,
So-
we should stream it on Stitcher.
Yeah, or on Stitcher.
Is that what is
What
it
is
called?
Stitcher?
I don't know. Twitch.
On Twitch.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we'll
that's
stream
right.
it on here. We'll stream it on our Section 336. We'll play and we'll stream it.
All right.
My prediction is that next year's MLB The Show cover athletes is Gunnar and Adley together. Because I think Adley has a huge year. Like you're saying, MVP running. Gunnar gets Rookie of the Year, and they decide to put them both on the cover together.
Wait, your bold prediction is for an MLB The Show
Yes.
cover for next
It
year?
is. Yes, it is. That's one of
Okay.
my bold predictions.
Okay.
I like to think of bold predictions that you would not think of.
I was not thinking of that one.
So I thought that was a good one that I thought of when I realized the game came out today. I said, oh, we have a legit shot that we could have a cover athlete next year.
All right. I'm trying to align my bold predictions with yours, but I have nothing to go off that one with.
I think you would.
This I already mentioned, so I'll say it here. My bold prediction is that DL Hall will be our best starting pitcher by the end of the year. So that's my bold prediction for DL Hall.
Okay. That's definitely bold. because it's interesting because with DL Hall, Grayson Rodriguez, and John Means, it takes more than to get him into the starting rotation means other people have to move out.
Yeah,
rotation.
we're gonna fit him. That's 3 guys that are not
really
on the rotation
tricky.
now.
Right, right. You're talking 3 out of 5. Most of your rotation. You're saying that by the end of the year we have a completely different rotation.
Yeah, but also let's not get it twisted. First of all, people will get injured. I mean, I have no doubt that every starting pitcher is not going to stay healthy the whole season. But the other thing is, Josh, so much of this season is our success is dependent upon Cole Irvin and Kyle Bradish and Kyle Gibson, so much, and Dean Kramer. So much of our success, if things do not go as I think they are, it's going to be because of starting pitching. That's why. I think if things go off the rails, it'll be because Kyle Bradish can't figure it out, and Dean Kramer regresses, and Kyle Gibson and Cole Irvin are just okay, but not good. They're just average. That's where things go south for us. But the good thing for the Orioles is if one of those guys struggle, we do have Grayson Rodriguez, who I think will be there no time. And then I think right after Grayson, DL Hall's coming. And then right after that, John Means will be back. So I'd like to say that the cavalry is coming.
Right. Your cavalry 3.0.
Yeah.
I believe
the cavalry is on the way.
And I believe your cavalry prediction with that timeline would be that you're calling all 3 of them up and in the rotation before July.
Yes.
Which makes it tricky because it means you're then getting rid of guys. Well, I'll roll into my bold prediction of trade candidates.
All right. I got a bold prediction with trades too.
All right. Here's the 3 guys I'm saying the Orioles trade this June and July timeframe. I'm going to start with the pitchers because we got to make room in this starting rotation. I think Kyle Bradish has an excellent year. I think Kyle Bradish becomes an all-star candidate because he pitches so well, but we trade him off. We trade him off because teams are always looking for pitching, and we need to make room in our rotation. I think we also trade off Kyle Gibson because he's just a placeholder. I think Cole Irvin ends up pitching better than Kyle Gibson, and we like how Cole Irvin is meshing with the team and his fast release. So I think Cole Irvin stays, Gibson and Bradish get traded. And then I'm going to just
Judge, can I just say, I thought we were trying to add to the roster. You're not trading prospects. You're trading away major talent. Are we going back into rebuilding mode? Is that what's happening this season?
No, I've got guys behind. I'm trading away Kyle Gibson and Kyle Bradish because I don't like Kyle's.
Okay.
But I'm really trading them away because I have John Means and Grayson Rodriguez to take those slots.
All right.
And John Means and Grayson Rodriguez are both better than Kyle Gibson and Kyle Bradish, but these guys are pitching well enough that I can get stuff from them because everybody needs pitching. Then in the same regard, I think Anthony Santander gets traded as well.
Oh my gosh, Josh, you're trading away all the major league talent. What are you doing this team?
Because
you're going
this
full
team,
tank mode. You're gutting the team.
Because
I can't believe I'm hearing this.
Because Kersted's going to push his way up. And this team, you're going to look at because Mike Elias is looking at this beyond this year. And he's looking at the next 5 years. And I don't think Santander is part of the next 5 years.
Oh, I can't wait to hear Buster Olney after this trade deadline. Wow.
No, I'm telling you, we've got to make big moves. The nice thing is we're trading big guys. We got to trade those 3 guys to get Ohtani.
Yeah, I don't know if the Angels will do that deal.
We're not going to get Ohtani for prospects, especially low-level prospects, because we don't want to trade our A-level prospects. We need them up here. Our A-level prospects are better than all 3 of these guys.
All right, that's a bold prediction. I went a little differently with it.
That's why we
Time now for bold predictions.
I have 3 players traded too.
Okay. You're picking all minor leaguers. You're picking Colton Cowser, Jordan Westberg. Who are you picking?
Colton Cowser, Jordan Westberg, and Connor Norby.
Is that really your prediction?
That's really my prediction.
I don't know why I cut off and didn't go with Connor Norby. It's so predictable. You're saying that this major league roster is so good that he's going to have to trade AAA guys. Josh,
I'm saying if you want to get, and my other prediction that's tied to it is that the Orioles will acquire a top 20 player at the trade deadline.
Ohtani?
A top 20 player. If you want a top 20 player from a team that's going into rebuild mode, What do they want? They want prospects. What do we have more of than anybody in baseball? We have prospects.
Yes.
And so I think, I mean, I don't know if Connor Norby will be better than whatever, but I know we have Joey Ortiz. I know we don't need 3 shortstops.
Right.
And so you can, and even you don't think Mateo is the future, which by the way, if Mateo is good like you think he is and he takes the next step, then we have no need for a Jordan Westberg on this team. And Norby at second base, again, I think he's expendable. And then Colton Cowser, I'm really high on Heston Kjerstad, so I think Colton Cowser becomes expendable. And so I think this is the whole reason you have prospects now is when you're in a playoff run, you can trade some of these guys and get a top player back. So I expect Mike Elias to not trade major talent, but to trade prospects and get a top player at the trade deadline. That's my bold prediction, that we finally trade some top prospects for talent.
All right, I can see it. It's 2 different angles. You're saying trade the prospects to bring big arms in right away. I'm saying we watch that injury route, and as teams have players that go down, we trade them active guys who are ready to go now.
Right, and our prospects can fill in
on the door.
Yeah.
So, both good problems to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 2 ways of solving having too many talented players. Yeah.
All right. Did you make any predictions about home runs?
No prediction about home runs. I actually just have one more prediction.
All right. Outside of the Lamar prediction.
Yes, outside Lamar prediction.
Okay. Well, my last prediction for the Orioles is home runs.
All right. What's your home run prediction?
My home run prediction is that Adley and Gunnar both get 25 home runs.
Okay, I like that. I don't have their numbers in front of me. Do you know how many they had last year? I mean, I think Adley only had like 12 or something, right? And
let's see.
I know he had a lot of doubles, and Gunnar too had a lot of doubles. I feel like I like that. Certainly, we could use the power on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I think there's adjustment to the wall. I think there was so much of Trey Mancini complaining about that wall last year.
Well, and Adley's a switch hitter, and so he bats mostly left, which is our right. So that's an advantage, and you're not hitting. I mean, I think the disadvantage are right. Like Ryan Mountcastle is at a disadvantage being a right-handed hitter, but the majority of Rutschman's bats is going to be left-handed, and Gunnar Henderson's a left-handed hitter. So I think both of those guys could conceivably.
Last year, Santander had 33. Ryan Mountcastle had 22.
But you said Rutschman and
so I'm just setting the level. Rutschman had 13 last year.
Yeah,
and Gunnar had 4.
Yeah, but Rutschman had a ton of doubles. So if some of those doubles can turn to home runs,
he had 35 doubles.
Yeah, it's a ton.
So you figure if some of those add
he led the team in doubles, and he missed the beginning of the season.
Right,
yeah.
And you play a full season, you're gonna get some. You think leading the team in doubles means you come back and hit more home runs?
Well, I think with a young player who's still working into his power, I think doubles turns into home runs often. Yeah.
You know who had the same number of doubles and tied him for the team lead last year?
I do, actually.
Okay.
The guy who
you said
is his last chance.
Yes, Austin Hayes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to your final bold prediction.
All right, mine's actually in terms of playoff roster. A guy who
playoff roster. Okay.
Yeah, a guy who I think is going to be on the playoff roster.
All right.
Do you know who my bold prediction is for this guy is going to be on the playoff roster?
Oh, is he currently in the system?
He's currently in the system, but currently not on the 40-man and
Kjerstad.
currently not.
Kjerstad.
Yep, Heston Kjerstad. My bold prediction is that Heston Kjerstad will be up in time to make the playoff roster for the Orioles.
I like that prediction. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm right on board. I was thinking July timeframe for him once you trade Santander.
I mean, I think you can play with a DH position there.
Yeah, you can make room. I know you can make room with him on the team and still have.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Yes,
but yeah. All right, that's all I got. Judge, it's a good list.
Yeah, I think this is another fun list, another fun episode of bold predictions.
So this just guarantees that none of that will happen, but we had a lot of fun talking about it.
Well, last year the Orioles won 83 wins. Do you remember what prediction we made?
I don't know. I think
Do
we
you remember
debriefed
any
the
of our
whole thing
bold
at the end of the
predictions?
season, but I forget. I mean, we were optimistic because we always are. I don't know if we were 83 optimistic.
You predicted 79 wins, and I predicted 78 wins.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny that even this year you're one win ahead of me.
Yeah, and that was when Vegas predicted like 62 wins or something. So we were way ahead of Vegas. And Vegas this year too is so low in the Orioles. I really can't believe it. I can't believe how low Vegas is in the Orioles.
You see,
and Vegas is smarter than me, but I'm just really surprised with that.
Vegas also has Brandon Hyde as the first manager fired of the year.
Oh, does he really? Do they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. Vegas clearly is not drinking enough orange Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I mean, if things go south, maybe. I mean, if they predict the Orioles have a bad record, I guess that would also make sense with Hyde being fired.
You predicted last year that Mountcastle would be Rookie of the Year.
Mountcastle? No.
Yes. My notes right here say Mountcastle Rookie of the Year.
Mountcastle wasn't a rookie last year.
You sure he didn't get folded into rookie kind of like Gunnar is this year?
No. No. Are you looking at the notes from last year or from like 2 years ago? What year are you looking at?
It's got to be from last year because it was pod. Maybe it's 2 years. Maybe this is 2 years. But I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe this is 2 years ago because it's pod 412.
Yeah, because that would be what season 2021.
But here's the problem.
Yeah, he could have been a rookie then. Yeah.
But here's what's throwing me off. Is in the bottom of our bold predictions.
Yeah.
It says Matt June 4th, Josh July 6th.
Oh, for debuts?
For Adley Rushman.
Yeah.
So that's why I assumed that this was last year's predictions.
Yeah.
But you're right. It can't be.
Yeah. Or maybe that. Are you sure it wasn't Rutschman Rookie of the Year? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
And you wrote down Mountcastle?
Maybe, but I doubt it.
All right. Well, I don't know.
It also said that Mountcastle was going to hit 40 home runs. Right under that was your prediction.
That was a stupid prediction by me if I said that. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check the tape because that was last year's when they moved the wall back. And why would Mountcastle hit any home runs with the wall 100 feet further back? True. So, I mean, if anyone's going to hit, Josh, do we have any who's going to hit the warehouse? Do we have any warehouse predictions?
Warehouse. Why would anyone hit the warehouse? It hasn't been hit in its entire existence.
Yeah, so it's due, right? Isn't that what you're saying? It's due.
It's due. Right. Yeah. Though it was fun seeing Griffey out with the Team USA a couple weeks ago.
People talk about Heston Kjerstad's power. He's a lefty. Maybe Kjerstad can do it.
Man, I don't know. If Chris Davis couldn't do it, I don't think anyone will ever do it.
Yeah.
So, but who knows?
Maybe we need to bring in the warehouse a little bit closer.
They keep move the warehouse.
Yeah, move the warehouse in.
You can move home plate out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson.
The only story everyone's talking about in Baltimore this week.
Across the nation, Josh. This is the big story.
I know.
Josh.
I was out to lunch when his Twitter blew up or whatever because he tweeted at the same time as John Harbaugh's speech.
Yeah.
And every TV was like on a different sports channel, and they all went to Lamar Jackson talk.
Yeah. Which was like breaking news, but also like not breaking news to anyone who's been following the story.
Right, exactly. And then, right. And that's my favorite thing is it doesn't really change anything in the story. But actually, my favorite part of the story is people digging into the entire gym.
Yeah. There's so many layers here. To be honest, Josh, I'm a little befuddled by the whole thing. First of all, I'm irritated by the whole thing because Lamar Jackson's not just one of the best players, the most exciting player in all of sports. And the fact that the Ravens possibly could have lost out on Lamar Jackson for whatever reason, you can blame who you want to blame. It's sad for all the fans because he's amazing. The other thing that kind of blows me away about this whole situation is Lamar Jackson's the top, 8, 10 at the most. You could narrow it down to 6 or 7 quarterbacks in the league. Everyone knows you don't do anything consistently in the NFL without a quarterback. Right. Look at all the teams that make the playoffs. Every now and then you got someone sneaks in there. If you want to make the playoffs like Brady, Mahomes, like you got to have a quarterback if you want to consistently make the playoffs. And here's Lamar Jackson, who's a legit top superstar quarterback. If I'm another team, I don't understand. Like, I understand the Ravens' perspective. I don't understand the other team's perspective. Take all my draft picks. Give me Lamar. Lamar Jackson can walk onto any team in the NFL, and that team immediately becomes a playoff contender.
Correct. But, I mean,
you can say all the butts you want. I just want Lamar. But go ahead and say your butt.
But you want Lamar for 16 weeks, and Lamar doesn't play 16 weeks.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe he's – I think he's worth the risk.
He hasn't.
I would rather have that risk than have Kirk Cousins or have a Carson Wentz.
I get that, but then do you want to then pay a guy guaranteed money for that long? And a cap hit. Look at the cap hit of Deshaun Watson. It's $35 million a year.
Yeah. No, I get it, Josh. But my point is, I don't understand why teams aren't even trying. It feels like they're not even trying, and maybe they are in the background.
I know what that's just the owners club. That's the owners club of saying it's not collusion, but it's all of them without speaking saying we're not signing a deal like Deshaun Watson.
Josh, that's the other thing that irritates me. A lot of things irritates me about this story. It's like we have been destroying the Browns we stole the Browns franchise. They've been kicking their butt the entire existence of the Ravens and the Browns. We've been kicking their butt. And yet, these diabolical Browns owner, everyone's questioning, well, why did they sign to John Watson for all that money, given all his off-the-field stuff? This is diabolical. They did it in a way to screw over the Ravens. We have been screwed over by the Browns in this most epic way. So props to the Browns.
And you know what
it is? Destroying us and destroying our chances of keeping Lamar Jackson. It's kind of a brilliant move by them, but it makes me so bad.
It falls right in line with Jeremy Irsay coming out and talking about him being the one owner talking about how he'd like to have Lamar.
Yeah, there's all our ghosts from the past are coming out. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
but Josh, doesn't it feel like too? This feels like a Manny Machado Orioles situation. Like, this isn't Ravens. This doesn't feel like Ravens to not be able to get along with a player and get a deal done. This feels like an Orioles thing that's not happening to the Ravens. And you can blame Lamar for the guaranteed money and stuff, but also how did it get to this point?
It's the lack of an agent thing. It's a lack of an agent. So there's no one to have a simple conversation. There's no one to not let it get emotional to Lamar.
Well, and that's fine, Josh. But at the end of the day, the Ravens want Lamar, and they're not going to have him. So you can blame the agent. You can blame this and that and that. But the point is, you want him on your team.
But we've been told the Ravens have made him very good offers.
That's fine, but you still want him on your team, don't you?
Yeah, and I think it's yes. But remember, the Ravens have a chance. Anyone can make him an offer, and they can match it.
Right.
So they're like, it's basically saying, all right, go out and negotiate. Find out what you're worth, and we'll pay you.
Right.
They did it with Ray Lewis years ago. Remember when he traveled around and went to Dallas and stuff, and then we said, all right, we'll just pay you that.
Yeah, but Josh, Lamar doesn't have anyone to negotiate.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
That's a little awkward.
And Ken, whatever is going around calling.
It depends. The Total Gym guy, yeah.
The Total Gym guy who stole his terms of service from Tonal Gym and didn't change it in the terms of service.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, just use ChatGPT. You don't need to go steal that stuff.
Or at least I'll find and replace.
Yeah.
So my prediction for Lamar for 2023.
Yeah. What do you think Lamar ends up?
I think he sits out all of next year.
He just says no to $43 million.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yep. $32 million. I believe he just sits out.
Wow. That would be bold. And that's the other thing too. Because Lamar Jackson already cost himself money. He just continued to cost some money. It's frustrating.
It's frustrating, and it's the reason I'm going that route with my prediction is because he is so unpredictable because he doesn't have an agent. So he didn't. You know that in the NFL, there's a rule that your agent can only charge you 3% of your contract.
Right, to keep them from taking advantage of players.
Right.
Sure,
so no one's taking advantage of him. 3%. Of that money is a small amount.
3% of $200 million, Josh, is a small amount.
I mean, it's a nice. Trust me, it's a nice number. I'll take 0.5% of that.
Yeah,
it's a nice number, but
we're talking about this much money.
Your agent's probably going to make you that 3%.
Well, he probably already would have, right?
Right.
Lamar's losing money on this deal.
Correct.
But But yeah, you're right. That's the thing that makes Lamar so likable. Like I loved when he was tweeting responses to the people yesterday. Like that was cool, Lamar. But Lamar is cool, but Lamar is also like his own cat, and that makes him unpredictable. And that's both the good and the bad with Lamar.
Yeah, there's good and bad of Lamar.
Yeah,
and he's got a little too many yes men around him.
I don't know about his inner circle. And I don't care. I don't care about the other stuff.
I know this.
All I care about is I would love watching him play. And I want them to do whatever it takes to. Josh, do you know there's so many teams who, I mean, you just look at the Colts when they had Peyton Manning. And then since Peyton Manning, it's been Andrew Luck for a little bit, and then it's been just a total kind of hole there. You just see these franchises. Look at the Redskins. The Washington Commanders. It's so hard to find a consistently good elite quarterback. There's so few of them. And the fact that we could lose one, also the most exciting player in football. Yeah. I'm really not happy about it. Not happy about it. I don't care whose fault it is. I'm just not happy about the results here.
No, but I am happy that the Commanders look like they're going to be sold to new ownership.
Sure.
So it's all good to get bad owners out of sports.
Sure. I agree with that. Because Dan Snyder has a lot of skeletons in his closet. The problem is Peter Angelos doesn't have enough skeletons in his closet. He's a bad owner, but there's been no sexual assault stuff. There's been no shady dealings.
No weird team calendars where you're letting season ticket holders check in on the girls while they're changing or whatever that was in the islands. Yeah.
There's no cheerleader nonsense. Like Peter Angelo seems to be on the up and up with his stuff, which is unfortunate, right? Like good, but also a little unfortunate because that's really how you force an owner out. Or if you say one racist thing, he's gone. So you just have to maybe capture John saying one racist thing, then we get him out of here.
Well, first we have to capture John saying something. Yeah,
we're talking about John here. You're talking about Peter.
Yeah. True. All right. So what's your prediction with Lamar?
I think he plays for the Ravens next year.
How many games?
I think he plays all games.
All 17.
All games. All games. Is it 17 now? All games. Yeah, it's 17. They made it 18 yet? It's just a matter of time. I think plus playoffs. So 21 or whatever it is to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. You think he gets his Super Bowl?
Yeah, and wins it. So that's my prediction.
All right. Hey, we got a new as I mentioned earlier, did I say this morning? As I mentioned an hour ago.
It's been a long episode
on the podcast. We got a new review over on iTunes. From Boo to Boom. In light of the recently poorly worded and constructed reviews based entirely on a flawed perspective and fueled by that same cranky attitude that makes the DMV so painful and is often the person who goes to express checkout lines at the grocery stores with more than 10 items, J. Gibbons, I would like to exercise my right of free speech and express how wonderful the 336 show and host are. I've been following for 5 years and enjoyed the highs and more frequently lows of being an O's fan. I appreciate what the boys from 336 do and how much they do as a free service for the Birdland community. If you're so upset at the quality of such a service that you would take time out of your life to give them a 1-star review, reevaluate your life. Perhaps you're actually supposed to be a Boston or Phillies fan. Huge hat tip to the boys. Keep up the good work.
Wow, that was a long, specific response. That was a compliment and also shots fired at Jay Gibbons. Yes. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for those words.
So, thank you. Continue to send us reviews over on iTunes. Like I said, the Orioles are good, which means everybody wants to do a podcast. So, you can show your appreciation for us and the 10 years we've been going with a review over on iTunes.
That's right. You can listen to the other ones. That's fine. It's sometimes good to go listen to other ones, so then you realize how great we really are at this.
Yeah. Is that you tell your wife the same thing? Sometimes I got to go out with other girls just to show how much I love you.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of this in terms of Emily, going back to the Grace Rodriguez thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's fine I think Emily would realize too how good she has it if she did that. But Emily got mad at me the other day because she bought some sort of pastry at the local bakery here.
All right.
And I was eating breakfast and I was going to make myself some oatmeal. And Emily said, "Hey, listen, I bought you this pastry." And I said, "Emily, I'm not going to eat it. I'm kind of in the mood for oatmeal." So I made myself oatmeal. And then we got really mad at me.
Rightfully so. Who chooses oatmeal over a pastry?
I was in the mood for some kind of hearty meal, not some little sugary pastry thing. I was in the mood. I had a big day ahead of me. I needed a hearty, good oatmeal to get me through the day. And Emily blew up and got really mad at me.
Yeah, because you turned down a fresh pastry for oatmeal.
But
you know what's still gonna be fresh 3 weeks from now? That oatmeal.
Yeah. Well, listen, I like oatmeal. I put a little peanut butter in there. It gets me going throughout the course of the day. But it's that thing with Mike Elias where people really aren't mad at Grace Rodriguez. And she really wasn't mad about the oatmeal. It's something deeper in there that's been stirring a little bit to make her blow up about the pastry.
Oh, really?
And that's what I think would happen with the Mike Elias stuff. Oriole fans are irritated about all the other stuff that's been going on around the Orioles for the past several years. And it's just blowing up in this thing that really doesn't warrant being blown up at. But we're just mad about the other stuff. That was the analogy I wanted to make with Grace Rodriguez and the wife, and you just reminded me.
I disagree about the pastry, but I do agree that.
What do you think is worth getting blown up? You think it's worth getting really mad and yelling over a pastry?
No, it's never worth nothing. But I'm still going to take
Emily's
Emily's
the pastry. It's another pastry for her. I would have been happy if I bought pastries and someone else didn't want it. It'd be another pastry for me. I'd be happy about it.
Emily, you can get me any pastries. I'll eat them. But I would say. I do think you have a point with the Grace Rodriguez stuff. People are all upset, but it's really because they're upset the Orioles did nothing this offseason.
Yeah, and they're upset that the Orioles.
So the whole offseason, we were telling them, hey, don't worry, we didn't do anything, but we have Grace in to start the season.
Yeah, they're mad about takeoff. They're mad about how this takeoff is going.
Liftoff.
Oh, liftoff. Yeah, I'm sorry, takeoff. Liftoff. Yeah, they're mad about how the liftoff has gone.
Yeah.
And Grace it kind of falls into their narrative of service time and cheap and all this other stuff, which, I mean, we have some good reason to believe. So this just kind of fits into that narrative.
Right.
If you want it to fit in there.
Correct.
So, all right. But Josh, we're optimistic. Let's get the season going. Opening day tomorrow. Let's go.
I'm so excited that baseball starts tomorrow.
I figure I have to make sure I can watch the game. But
yeah, I got it.
That 2 o'clock start's tricky.
Yeah. You have MLB TV?
I think in the past I've used your account. I'm probably going to try to do that again.
All right, let me see if I can get you a account set up through T-Mobile.
Okay.
So, because they always cover mine.
Yep, and I usually steal yours, so that's how that works.
Yep.
All right, boys and girls, thanks for listening to another episode of Section 336. Like Josh said, go to iTunes and write us a review. We appreciate those. You can also follow us on Twitter for all our Orioles takes. You can follow me at Section 336. You can follow Josh on Twitter.
At Josh Soroka and at Birdland Sports. If you want to help out with that booth, hit me up.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's.